All right now, Shalom Israel, with the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And we're not affiliated with any other Israelite group nor any other Christian organization. All right. So tonight's class is the history class. Now, history is very important for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to know our history. All right. In our oppression, in our captivity in America, they are trying to hide history as we speak. Because of Martin Luther King, and because of the Christian church, and because of Christianity, and because of the Nation of Islam, because of these religious leaders, all right, they have the opportunity to hide our history. We no longer have, because of these things and because of these people, we no longer have control of what we teach our kids. We are no longer in control of what goes into our systems. You understand? Do you know how important it is to raise the next generation? every other race and nation on the every other nation and race of people on this earth understand how important it is to raise up the next generation. How many of you know in this class tonight that's in class? Let me know if you know, yes or no, it is important to raise up the next generation. How many of y'all knew that? Let me know, yay or nay. Yes or no, y'all didn't know that it was very important to raise up the next generation. Did y'all know that in the Bible, it talks about raising up the next generation? Did anybody know that? Y'all let me know before we get into this topic. God, that's true. That's true, young man Darnell. That is true. The Bible does talk about training up a child. The Bible talks about that. And so let me share, I'm gonna share the screen real quick so you guys can see. All right, we're gonna get Deuteronomy chapter 32. All right, we're gonna get Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7, real quick. All right, we're gonna get Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. This is gonna be a heavy topic right here. This is gonna be a hitter. And let's get it on the screen. Most High Christ. Yeah, Con. And make sure, do not forget to sign in. All right, do not forget to sign in. Make sure you put your name, city, and state. Do not forget to sign in and check in. All right, do not forget to sign in and check in so you can get attendance. Please do not forget that. And so now, with that being said, we got Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7 on the screen. All right, and I want y'all to pay attention to this. And it says in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7, remember the days of old. And the reason why it says remember the days of old, because the Bible talks about history. All right. The Bible talks about knowing your history. It says, remember the days of old. You understand? Remember those days. All right. Consider the years of many generations. because we have to consider the years of many generations. We have to consider the years of the generations that came before us, and we also have to consider the years of many generations that are going to come after us. This was always an Israelite custom. It was this was a practice of normality. All right. Just like every other nation and race of people on this earth, they understood that the next generation is important. They're going to carry on what we have installed. They're going to keep China alive. They're going to keep Japan alive. They're going to keep Korea alive. They're going to keep Vietnam alive. You understand? They're going to keep Ghana alive. They're going to keep India alive. They're going to keep Pakistan alive. They're going to keep Arabia alive, Saudi Arabia alive. They're going to keep Nigeria alive. You guys get the point. They're going to keep Egypt alive. Like this is why we even get taught this from the Lord. And we were told this. This was an order from the Lord. This is a part of our law. This is a part of our customs. If you don't know the history, then you're not going to know your customs. If you don't think about history, then you're not going to know your culture and your heritage. And that was our oppressor's plan, was to separate us and take us from our culture, to take us from the heritage, to take us from the customs that God passed down to us. We no longer have the control that we had because of integration. We no longer have the control that we had of our own school systems and what we teach our kids. Kids are so important to teach. Kids are so important to raise up. Kids are so important to install so much knowledge into. And our oppressor understood that. If you can destroy an entire generation of children, then you can destroy the entire race. Does everybody know that? Am I speaking foreign to anybody online tonight? Does anybody can anybody understand that? If you can destroy a generation of children, you can destroy the entire race of people. And the entire nation of people can be destroyed by destroying the generation of children first. That's why in the 1970s, black women were raising kids on their own. That was by design. That was by plan, so the generation of children can be destroyed. So there would be no masculine figure in the homes. The Bible comes. Listen, we're about to read it right here. We're about to read it right here. Why it's so important? It says, "Ask thy father." It says, "Ask thy father." After it says, "Consider the years of many generations," it says, "Ask thy father." Why is it saying, "Ask thy father"? Because your father was supposed to be in charge of the home. Your father was supposed to be in the home, no matter how many homes he had. Your father could have been a Rolling Stone. He could have had 8 to 9 wives. He could have had 13 to 20 wives, but he was in that goddamn house. And his responsibility was to those kids. His responsibility was to the next generation. You understand? And our oppressor understood that. You were supposed to ask thy father. You were supposed to have a father in your life. Because of America, because of the Christian church, because of Martin Luther King, we grow up without fathers. We grow up without them. We grew up with a masculine figure. We grew up without someone to ask questions that need to be answered. You understand? A man in a home has certain wisdom that a sister may not have, that a woman just may not have. There is wisdom that a brother has that a woman will not. And it's important for that brother to be there. You understand? Why a sister's busy being soft. You understand? Why a sister's being so soft and so kind and so sweet. She may not have the wisdom that the brother has when it comes to being rough and tough. You understand? When necessary. You understand? She's busy nurturing the child the way a mother's supposed to nurture the child, having breast and produces milk and making sure that, and swaddling the baby. You know what I'm saying? If you let a sister swaddle a baby enough, she'll swaddle the baby until the little girl or the little boys until 12, 11, till he's 10 to 11 to 12 years old. And if it's a girl, to 10 to 11 to 12 years old. Let a sister do it. But if a brother is there to be like, hey, you need to stop swaddling that baby like that. They need to grow up. They need to realize they need to start becoming responsible individuals, because soon they're not going to be in our supervision one day, and they're going to have to be able to make proper decisions in life and not grab weed and kill somebody, and not grab a gun and kill somebody. You understand? And not sleep with another man's wife and end up getting killed themselves, and not going out there and rob and steal and murder and get thrown in prison and jail for the rest of their goddamn lives. There's a reason behind all of this. There's a reason why the Lord is saying, ask thy father. There's a reason behind it all. but we don't even realize it because of our oppressor, because of Martin Luther King, because of your T.D. Jakes, because of your Hezekiah Walkers, you understand? Because of those deacons in the church, because of those bishops in the church, we don't know this simple information, and it has destroyed an entire generation of people. And then from there, another generation, then another generation. And if we don't correct it now, it's going to get far worse than it is now. It's just going to get worse. And nobody wants that, right? We don't want a generation that's already worse than it already is as we speak. We see how worse the generation is. We are now in 2023. We already see how bad it's gotten. Do y'all want to see more? I mean, is this something that we're interested in? So don't you think it's time to buckle down? Don't we think? The brothers and sisters that are in class now, Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shai, because y'all understand that it's time to buckle down. And because of so, we need to make our other people, you understand, that are out in the world to understand it's time to buckle down, man. It says, ask thy father. A father plays such an important role within the home, man, and he will show thee. Because a father was supposed to show you certain things. A father was supposed to show a daughter how she's supposed to be treated, and how she's supposed to speak to a man, and how she's supposed to live around a man, and things like that. If a sister never grew up around a father, how can you expect her how to treat a brother, or how to even talk to a brother? You understand? Some of these sisters simply see sisters are single out here because they don't know how to talk to a man. Simply because of that. You understand? Brothers out there, you understand, don't know how to deal with sisters properly. You understand? And they treat these sisters as if they're equals when they're not. A good father would tell that young man, don't treat that sister as she's your equal. You can't do that. She's not capable of being your equal. You understand? She should not be talking to you like that. You can't have certain conversations with her. She's not a man, Ak. She's a woman. Her mind is different than yours, Ak. Just naturally by nature. She cannot handle certain things. She cannot handle that pressure, Ak. It's best for you to keep your mouth closed around her, Ak, because she can't. These are things that a father would teach a young man. You understand? There are things that a father will be able to teach his daughter and be like, listen, sis, you can't be in their conversations like that. That's a man's conversation right there. You might want to stay, you might want to be with the sisters and talk to the sisters. You understand? You're becoming far too comfortable and masculine around the boys. Stop being around these boys. They play too rough. You're a girl, you understand? You play with dolls, you play with the kitchen set and all this stuff. Stop playing with those boys. They're going to break your kitchen set. You understand? They're going to break the Barbie dolls off of your Barbie's head. Stop letting them play with your toys. Stop playing with them. You just broke your leg because you was playing with your brothers. I told you to stay away from them. Like, this is what a good father would do. There are things a father has to teach his kids. You understand? And history is one of them. Knowing who they are is one of them. Knowing where they come from is one of them. Knowing where they began is one of them. Teaching them about the generations before them is one of them. Teaching them how it's important to raise the next generation after them is one of them. These are things that are one of them. You understand? Our oppressor took that from us. Because of integration, now we no longer have that control. We don't have the control the way we're supposed to have the control over our school systems and over our children the way we do, man. Social media has a hold on our kids, and it's absolutely horrendous, and it's horrible. You understand? Social media has such a hold on our kids. The TV has such a hold on our kids. Society in the world has such a hold on our children, and we don't realize how dangerous it is. We don't realize how dangerous it is to let someone else raise our kids but ourselves. Raising your kids is not putting them in front of a TV and put on bubble guppies out. You understand? Raising your kids and putting your kids in front of a TV so they can watch Power Rangers all day, Aqua. That's not raising your kids. You understand? Buying them a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards and Blade Blades and how you do it. All right. I don't think those things exist anymore. So, like, I'm old. All right. But that's not how you raise your children. That's not how you raise your kids, Aqua. You have to raise your kids. Being a parent isn't all about having fun and having a bunch of ice cream parties and movie nights. You understand? It's not all about that. They're good to have, and it's good to spend quality time with the children. But now you have to raise your kids to teach them what's right and what's wrong. This would come from a father being in the home, where sisters are busy raising 3 to 4 kids by themselves and they're completely overwhelmed. overwhelmed with a bunch of kids yelling and fussing. And of course, what makes it worse, they all have different daddies and different spirits and different personalities. She don't know how to handle them. She don't know what to do with them. And we wonder why there's so much confusion. And we wonder why there's so much chaos. It starts in the home, man. You're wondering why your kids are not. You wondering why your kids are disobedient so disobedient at school, and they're not listening to the teachers, and they're not listening to what the teachers are telling them to do. It's because simply, all right, you're not raised. We're not raising our kids the way they're supposed to be raised. First off, they're kids. Stop talking to them and stop treating them like they're equals. You understand? You can't talk to your kid as if you're equal because y'all not equals. You understand? Your daughter is 7. Your son is 10. Your daughter is 8. Your son is 13. Your son is 5. Your daughter is 4. They don't know what it means to be an adult. They don't know what it means to pay bills. They don't know what any of these things mean. They don't know about taxes. You understand? They don't know about gross income. They don't know none of this. They don't know what a pay stub is. They don't know none of these things. But you talk to them as equals. You understand? They don't know the consequences that come behind doing the wrong thing and being thrown in jail for the rest of their lives. They don't know these things. Stop talking to them as if they're your equal. And you're wondering why they're 14 and 15 years old and they got so much mouth on them and they think they grown, they think they can do whatever the hell they want. And now you can't stop them. And now you got to damn near fight them in order to stop them. Do you know how many kids are fighting their parents out there in Aquafian? You know how many teenagers are fighting their kids? That's because of equality. That's because you think you can talk to your kid and tell your kid everything. You out there, and then of course, brothers and sisters in the world, they passing the blunt around to their 14 and 13-year-olds, and wondering why their 16 and 17-year-old sons and daughters, got the courage to be like, yeah, I can fight you, yeah, I can talk to you any kind of way I want. We can't be oblivious to these type of things. That's why it was so important to put a father in the home and to teach and to be able to teach these things to our kids. You understand? Like, this is why it's so important. We need to realize these things. We got to stop this nonsense, and it stops here. It starts right here in this history class every Monday tonight, just learning about how religion has destroyed black people and how Islam is absolutely dead and Allah is a rock. It starts there. You understand? It starts there. That's why I pulled this scripture. I'm a father. You understand? I know what it means to be a father. Some of y'all fathers and mothers out there, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure by coming into the ISUPK, y'all will soon learn what it truly means to be a father and what it truly means to be a mother. I'm positive that you guys will. You understand? It's telling us right here in the Bible in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7, man. It's telling us right here when it says, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee. You understand? It says elders and they will tell thee because there were elders in our community. You understand? And the elder should have been able to tell you what needs to be done and what not to be done. You understand? Now, an elder would be like a brother, a man in a position of authority, like a general today or something like that. You understand? Like an elder, man, someone high in rank. You understand? You understand? And we need to realize, like, men played such an important part within raising children and raising up an entire society and raising up in a community and raising up an entire nation of people. Because of our oppressor and because of integration and because of filthy, disgusting men like Martin Luther King going after other gods, man, men have been brought low. You understand? Even lower than they were in the 60s, in the 50s, in the 40s, in the 30s, in the 20s, throughout the 1800s during slavery, even lower than that. And now we don't. And now, as men, we have no sense of direction of what to do. We're high. We're doped up. We're on crack. We're on drugs. We're selling drugs. We have a bunch of illegal weapons on us. You understand? We don't register our weapons the way they're supposed to. No thanks to our oppressor purposely pushing crack and coke in unregistered weapons in the black community during the 70s and 80s. No thanks to that. What can we do? That's why it was so important. You understand? Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shai for the Lord sending his spirit back on the earth since 1969 and raised up great men to raise up even better men after that. And this is how you get the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under commanding General Yahana. Barakatah Yahweh Shah for that. And now we can teach our people what it truly means to be just a responsible adult, just to be a father, just to be a mother. You understand? Those jobs are important. You understand? You thought your 9 to 5 was important, but your being a father is is one of the most important jobs out there. Being a mother is one of the most important jobs out there, especially because you're a father and mother. That means you have kids. You're going to be doing your children a disservice if you're not doing them right and you're not teaching them and guiding them the way they're supposed to be. You're doing them a disservice. And also by doing that disservice, you're creating a dangerous environment for everyone else. And our oppressor understood that. And that's why they planned everything systematically the way they did. It's not by a coincidence that the black community and the Latino community and on those reservations, they're the most dangerous places within America. It's by design. It was purposely done. Think about it. You understand? Like, we need to know our history, man. If anybody has any questions in class tonight too, while we go over these lessons, just let me know. All right, and I'll get to your scriptures while I'm breaking down when it comes to Islam, man. Like, we're going to get into the real specifics of Islam. All right, we're going to dig real deep. I mean, real deep. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna use their book against them. All right. If you do not know, the reason why I love to touch on Islam so much, and I like to destroy Islam the way that I do, because before I came into the truth, I was a whole Muslim. All right. Before I came into this truth, I was a Muslim, a slash 5%er. Right before any of that, and I thought I was so conscious. I thought I knew so much. You understand? Until I got cut to piss by the ISUPK, till I got completely cut and stopped in my tracks by the Israelites, by the priests and prophets of the Lord within the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You understand? And so we're gonna cut Islam today. We're gonna cut that 5% nation stuff and the God's a nation of today. We're gonna get rid of all of that garbage. Done. We're gonna get over that. You understand? And listen, I know the Quran, all right? Since I know the Quran, I know it's a bunch of garbage once I learned this truth. And I'm gonna use their surahs against them to contradict everything. You understand? All right, so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get into let me see where we're gonna start off with. So now everybody knows. If everybody did not know now, to give you like a brief um a brief thing. Okay, I'm gonna ask a question. Does anybody know where Islam started? Can anybody tell me online, where did Islam start? Salakia. Anybody online paying attention class, where did Islam start? La didn't start in Africa. Okay. All right. Quashah said Mecca. Okay. Officer Mataza'a said the Middle East. All right. Christine said Mecca. Okay. Oh, also Christine, make sure you I don't believe I seen you check in. Don't forget to put your name, city, and state to check in. All right, so you can get credit towards class. Don't forget to do that, Bubba Kushah. All right, for Christine Brantley, do not forget to sign in and check in for that. All right, and so all right, so someone said Mecca. That is true. Someone said the Middle East. That is also correct. Um, uh, young man Darnell said, Salakia, Ishmael, the maid servant's child. La'ah. So I'm talking about the religion of Islam. I'm not talking about Ishmael. All right. I'm not talking about Ishmael. All right. And this is what I'm gonna break down. And I'm glad that young man Darnell said something like that. He said Africa, and the reason why he was saying Africa or whatever the case may be, because he said Salakia, Ishmael, the maid servant's child. Here's the thing our people, all right, our people confused, our people are very confused, and they have misinformation out there because of the conscious community and because of these woke black folks talking and doing all this nonsense of talking. We have tied too many things to certain things, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Now no now not sending any shots to you, young man Darnell. It's not, you know what I'm saying. I understand why you said that, and I'm only using you as an example. There's no harm, no foul to you. I don't want you to think I'm sending any shots to you, brother. All right, because the brother's a very bright brother, and he's coming real strong in this truth, and he's coming to class. So when he's out there, he doesn't say these things. It's very important to say the right things out there, especially when you're in this truth. You don't want to say the wrong thing because you will be held at a higher standard than everybody else. I'm gonna let you guys know right now, with all the viewers that I see in class tonight, you have a responsibility to say the right things out there. Don't say the wrong things out there. All right. Don't say the wrong things out there. That's why you come to class so you can say the right things out there. Now, of course, we tie Ishmael to Islam because, of course, we know if you're in the truth, you've been in the truth for a little bit. We know that the descendants of Ishmael are now the Muslims that we know today that practice Islam, and that's why the brother said that. But we don't. But I don't want anyone to confuse this day. Ishmael technically has nothing to do with Islam. All right. Islam did not exist when Ishmael was born and on the earth. Nor did, all right, nor did Ishmael start Islam. And we're going to combat that theory today. A lot of those conscious folks be like, Islam comes from Ishmael. Ishmael never taught Islam. And we're going to prove that Abraham, by being the father of Ishmael, never taught Islam either, and never taught that Allah garbage. It would be impossible for him to do so because of the customs that the Arabs now practice today due to Islam, or that's what's intertwined and involved with Islam. We're going to get through all that today. Like, we're going to know Islam today. We're going to learn Islam, and we're going to learn how dumb it is. We're going to learn why we shouldn't be worshiping Allah. We're going to learn why we shouldn't be Muslims. We're going to learn this today. All right. Like I said, I used to be a Muslim back in the day. I was a hardcore Muslim. Salam. How you doing? Aki, all that BS, all that BS. Back in I was on that, all on that dumb stuff back in the day, man. Now I was a 5%er and all that nonsense. Knowledge, wisdom, culture, power, God, build and destroy, and all that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? I was on all that stupid garbage. I was talking about, yeah, did you know the number nine? Anything you multiply with nine, you can add it together and get the number nine together. I was on all that non-dumb stuff that had nothing to do with building up a nation. I just made myself sound smart until I found that ISUPK and got cut to piss and learned something that's actually going to benefit not just me, but my entire nation of people. You understand? So we're gonna get into that today. And so now the sister said Mecca. Officer Mataza said the Middle East. That's correct. The Middle East is correct, but specifically Mecca. All right. The city Mecca. I'm gonna go into deeper detail. Of course, you can find this all on the you can Google this. All right, but Islam started in Mecca, in modern day Saudi Arabia. All right, during the time of the Prophet Muhammad's life. So now, because by that knowledge alone, all right, we know that Islam started during Muhammad's life, the so-called Prophet Muhammad's life. Now we're going to prove why Muhammad cannot be a prophet. We're going to get into that too. We're going to get into all of that. And we're not just going to use the Bible to prove it. We're going to use the surah too. We're going to use them surahs too. Let me share this class. We Don't forget to share these classes to your friends too. Don't forget to do that for me. Share these classes. All right, share these classes for me. Don't please. Let me see if I can get officer, send that to him too as well. Paste that. I know the brother Kashakawu, I know he wanted this breakdown too. Salakia, the brother wanted this lesson too. I should send a lesson to my father because he's the one that taught me all this garbage, right? You know what I'm saying? But that's no sweat. Share this to your friends and your family so they can really learn this information. This information is very important. You understand? You really don't want to miss it, and you shouldn't let them miss this beautiful opportunity to learn the disgusting religion of Islam and why we shouldn't be following it. All right. And so now, let's get it. So now we know during Muhammad's life, this is when Islam started. It didn't start anywhere else. It didn't start with, it started there during his lifetime. All right. And it started in this general location. So if anybody tells you, oh, it started in Barbados or it started in Antarctica or whatever, if they don't say Mecca, Saudi Arabia, all right, they're wrong. And you want to, and the reason, and I'm teaching, and for you officers out there, study this breakdown and take a bunch of notes, because I'm saying words like Mecca and Saudi Arabia for a reason, because all of these things are going to pop up again. All right. And you can use this to cut Muslims. All right. And you can cut the brothers that are 5%ers and all this other garbage and nonsense. You can cut them this way. The ones that believe in Allah and all that nonsense, you can cut them this way. All right. A lot of those brothers that are 5%ers and Muslims, they get all their teachings from the Nation of Islam. And of course, this is a jailhouse religion. So in order for you to really learn this, the way how our forefathers learned it, they were in prison. All right. They went to prison. They went to jail for whatever the reason it was. And that's how they learned this religion. All right. It's a jailhouse religion. All right. The 5% nation, the nation of God's nerves, that's a jailhouse religion. It's if you don't know about the NGE, the Nation of God's Nerve, which is the 5% nation, they came out of the Nation of Islam with Clarence X. They came out of they're pretty much Nation of Islam rejects. And Clarence X left out of the same mosque that Malcolm X was in, and he created the alphabet in the 5% nation and a number system that whatever and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing too, like, we may not know too much now. We are in the state of Virginia, all right? We're in the state of Virginia, so we may not know as much as as we should about those things, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you come from up north, because I'm from Jersey, all right, I'm from Jersey. So if you come up from up north, you from like New York, Jersey, Philly, you'll understand like this is the life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like 9 times out of 10, 90% of your family is Muslim. If your family not Christian, the Christian church banging the tambourine, they making Sahada trips and shit. All right, excuse my language, but they're taking Sahadas and all this other type of stuff. All right, so this was the culture up north, and so you damn near you were raised amongst it. It was almost like your everyday life, like it was a part of your lingo. Like up north, we brothers, even if you weren't Muslim, you said Ak or Aki, like that was just the lingo. You know what I'm saying? You may not have been a Muslim, but you had a kufa on your head because it was just the culture. And that's how much of an effect. Like, and and a bunch of men were just a bunch of Muslims. You understand? A bunch of brothers were just a bunch of Muslims. Can you see? And I don't know if you guys can really see it, but let me give you paint a picture. Like, that's how much of an impact a man has on society. You understand? That's how much men have an impact on society. when they're just there in the neighborhood, in the community. Kids just learn from them. You understand? All the brothers on the corner just drinking and smoking with their kufis on, with the Quran in the hand, talking about Aki and Aga, all this other crazy garbage, talking about taking Sahadas Alaikum Salam and all this knowledge, wisdom, culture nonsense. It was just the culture growing up. And so you just learned this automatically. You understand? You just learned this garbage automatically. It was almost like if you were just around it. It was, you couldn't run away from it because it was around the corner. If you wanted a zebra cake and you wanted the honey bun down the street at the corner store, or you had to go to the bodega because you were thirsty and you needed something to drink, there's your there's your Aki. There's your imam. You know what I'm saying? Selling the dope as well. The same imam that's telling you you got to stay on top of your toes, Aki. The same imam and the same 5%er, the same Muslim. All right, this is the crazy part. The same imam, Muslim, and 5% are telling you to stay on your toes, Aki, stay in them books, young brother. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom is power, and wisdom and knowledge is power. You feel me? He's selling you the same dope when you're 16. You understand? He's sliding you the rock to give to your mama. You know what I'm saying? He's selling that rock to your mama because she an addict. That same dude, that same brother on the corner that you see to get your zebra cake since 6 was selling your mama crack and coke and all the dope. And you wondering why we so messed up now and your mother not in the home because she's some strung out addict. And your father, all right, you being raised by your uncle and your auntie or your grandparents because your father went to jail for being a dope seller or a dope dealer. And he the same imam too when he get out 20 plus years later in 2005 and 2006. Let me know if I'm saying anything that y'all never seen before. You understand? I pray that y'all have seen this before, right? Am I saying anything y'all never heard or seen before? Like these are the things that's happening in the community, right? You understand? But let me try to get back into the lesson too. But y'all let me know. All right, I got another question for y'all. All right. Now, does anybody know how the Prophet Muhammad got that? How Muhammad got that lesson? How do you guys know the way Muhammad got got that lesson from to start Islam? Does anybody know that history or that simple fact? How did Muhammad receive the Islam religion? Does anybody know that? If not, I'm give it to y'all for time's sake, and y'all can just look up this information too. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can look up this information. I'm gonna have some information on the screen too. All right. I might I might do a part 1 and a part 2 if I don't get into all of it tonight. So I'll do the same thing on Monday for Monday night's class. All right. Slakia, by watching us, the Jews and okay, that's how he got. That's not wrong, Ak. But before all of that, what does Muhammad, the so-called Prophet Muhammad, say how he received Islam? Because watching the Jews and copying, that is true, but that's not how he received the Islam religion. That's kind of how he really, that's somewhat, okay, that's just a part of it. That is a part of, I'm going to say that's a part of it. But that's after the fact. He says something before that. But you're right, though, young man Darnell. That is absolutely correct, and I'm gonna bring that out. All right, and you can find that information that the brother said was so heavy. You can find that in the book of Babylon, the Timbuktu. All right, how the Muhammad and he followed the Jews and did what the Jews say. But we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that brief talking later on. All right, maybe even next week. All right. Okay, young man Kenny, that's true. That's true. The brother, that's correct. If anybody didn't know, so-called Angel Gabriel. All right. Now, what the brother brought up is crazy. Young man, Darnell and young man Kenny. I'm gonna use both of their answers because both of their answers are correct. And so, the so-called Prophet Muhammad. All right, Islam. This is what Islam teaches. By the way, y'all want to know what Islam teaches? Islam teaches that Allah's words was revealed to the so-called Prophet Muhammad through the angel Gabriel. Now, when young man Kenny, when young man Kenny also not young man Kenny, when young man Darnell said he watched the Jews, right? Before the Quran was even brought forth, the Bible existed. All of our culture, all of our history already existed. If you don't know, Islam started around 500 to 700 BC. So it started way after way after the Old Testament, way after even the New Testament. And so we're gonna get Daniel because this is where Islam gets. This is where the Prophet Muhammad stole his information from. All right, I believe it's in Daniel chapter 8, and let's get verse 15 through 19. And it says right here, and it came to pass, all right, meaning something was going to come to pass when even I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning. Then behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man. So something stood before Daniel. This is the prophet Daniel. Daniel was a prophet. All right. Go figure. Prophet, so-called Prophet Muhammad, Daniel's a prophet. Go figure. Crazy, right? Crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to do my Uncle Murder. Crazy, crazy, crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's absurd. Verse 16. Even, it's like not even. Verse 16. And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Ulai, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision. All right. So this is the angel, the only report ever on record. There is no real record. I want everybody to understand. There is no real record of the angel Gabriel going to the Prophet Muhammad. There's no record of that. There's no record of that. But there is a record of in the angel Gabriel going to a prophet. It wasn't Muhammad. But there is a record of the angel Gabriel going to a prophet. It wasn't the prophet, so-called Prophet Muhammad, but who was it? Of course, we know it's the prophet Daniel. Let's read 17. Let's read verse 17. And it says, so he came near where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid, because this was an angel. All right, to stay face to face at an angel, that's a scary sight. I don't know, by reading Daniel, you will see how crazy visions are. If you had a vision from the Lord, that is a listen. If you ever, you know how black people we talk, we're gonna put the fear of God in somebody. That's where this comes from. All right. Those visions would put you in fear. Seeing the angels would put you in fear. They were not soft white babies with wings. All right. Angels were monsters. You understand? They were creatures, all right, that had the appearance of man. In the book of Daniel, it will explain how they look. They got wings and like a calf's foot and 4 faces. You understand? Some angels had like a bunch of eyes, all right, and they can damn near shape shift in whatever the case is. All right, they will make, what I'm saying, they have the appearance of a man, but they're not a man, but they're an angel. And they were scary. They were tough. They were rough. You didn't talk to no angel any kind of way. You understand? You approached an angel of God a certain way. All right. You damn near didn't approach an angel of God. You damn near wanted to run the other way. Plenty of scriptures in the Bible talks when I believe when it was some heathen. I forgot his name. It was in the book of Numbers. If anybody knows, I know y'all know. Anybody watching, with some good knowledge out there, I know y'all know. Somewhere I believe in Numbers, I can't think of his name. Some heathen. He was on his ass, and the ass saw the angel. All right, and the ass was trying to get away. All right, the ass was trying to get the hell away. The donkey was trying to get away from the angel, and he was striking the donkey like, "Why are you not doing what I'm telling you to do?" And you know what I'm saying? And if the donkey could talk at that time, he probably would have said, like, Negro, don't you see that there's some scary monster with a sword in front of us? But but what the Lord did was cover that heathen's eyes. I'm giving you a brief story, but eventually the donkey did talk because it was a spiritual moment. Thank you, Balaam, and there we go, Balaam, I believe was that heathen's name, and he covered his eyes, and Balaam was striking the donkey, and once the Lord uncovered the heathen's eyes, Balaam, he seen the angel. All right, and he immediately fell to his knees or something like that, and he was scared for his life. Like, to see an angel was not a pretty sight. All right. And so going back on topic, this vision that we're reading right here, this is scary. All right. Verse 17, I was afraid and fell upon my face because you fell upon your face because you were like, this man right here, whatever this is, I need to beg for mercy immediately. All right. But he said unto me, understand, O son of man, for at the time of the end shall be the vision. Now, of course, he's given the prophet Daniel the vision. Now, this is the angel Gabriel. This is the only recorded event of the angel Gabriel talking to any prophet ever. This event is not found anywhere but the Bible. If you see it in the Quran, where was it first? It was in the Bible. The Quran did not exist until 500 to 700 BC. The Bible existed when? When was Daniel alive? He was during the Babylonian Empire. So like in the midst of the Babylonian Persian Empire. I believe the Babylonian Empire turned into the Persian and Medes Empire, and Daniel was there for the majority of the Persian and Medes Empire. All right. Of course, you guys over time will be able to have this information in the back of your head the more you read the Bible. What you want to do, this is damn near an order. All right. Well, I may not be able to give this order out, but what you want to do is read the Bible and come to class with your questions. Just read the Bible, get familiar with it, and then if you don't understand something, bring it to the priest. Bring it to class, and we'll answer your questions either Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. All right. And we'll answer your questions right there and then. That's what you want to do. You want to be able to know this information just on the back of your head. That's why I brought up the scripture of consider the years of many generations. Our kids, you should just be able to spew out, oh yeah, Daniel, Persian Medes Empire, some of the Babylonian Empire. He's the one that talked to the prophet, to the angel Gabriel. You should be able to spit that off. You should be able to spit that off. You should be able to go to that scripture, especially if you're a priest in the school. Especially if you know what I'm saying. Like, this is something you should just be able to do. You know what I'm saying? Eventually it should come to the point where you have so many scriptures in your head, you damn near fumbling with all of them. You know what I'm saying? You damn near fumbling with all of them. You should get to that point. You know what I'm saying? But the point, and that's why we have things written down. That's why we have records. So when you're fumbling all in your head of all these scriptures, you have these scriptures written down. You have these events recorded. That was the purpose of the Bible. But let's get back into it. And if it wasn't for the order of the Lord, you understand, to make an order to scribe these things down, all right, like the Lord made an order that these things were supposed to be written down and scribed down. Understand? There's a scripture out there saying, "Blessed is the man that written this." They not scribed it. There's another word that they use dealing with writing. All right. If y'all know that precept, y'all can just put it into the chat. But the Bible talks about this. Like, it was like, these things were recorded. This was an order, so we can keep record of it because of things like this. You have some other nation of people claiming that our God is their God and made an absolutely other name for our God, even though it has nothing to do with our God. It's just a bunch of confusion. Because of Islam, everyone now believes Allah and the God of the Bible are the same, when they're not. That's why it was important to have these records, so we can prove to everyone that God is not our God. That God actually has nothing to do with our God. And we don't know why the hell they did something so blasphemous. And they should die for it. And they should be put to death for it. And they should pay for it. And they should pay for their lives for it. for confusing the entire nation of Israel because of so. Like I said, if you go up north, Jersey, York, not New York, you know what I'm saying, and Philly, there's nothing but Muslims. This is a part of the culture. You understand? Those brothers out there, like I was saying, men play such an important. Men actually have such an impact on the community. You have no idea. Like I said, you could just be downtown, be in Philly, be in New York, be in Jersey, and there's nothing but Muslims on the corner. And you just, and then of course you being a kid and you learning all these knowledge and terminology, and I don't know if y'all brothers ever grew up like this, but you would get stopped and you would get asked, what's today's mathematics? Anybody know? Maybe like I said, I'm from up north, but I want y'all to know that you would get stopped in broad daylight before, while you walk into school, you understand, or while you at the bus stop, and some old head, when you trying to go to the corner store to get your honey bun and zebra cake, and you want to get something to eat from the bodega, some Muslim out there asking you what's today's mathematics, and you would answer them. You would say today's mathematics, and you would let him know, and then he would give you some quick lesson while he's selling dope. While he's selling dope to the community. You understand? These are the things that are happening in our community. It's outrageous. You understand? No thanks to Martin Luther King. No thanks to these black religious leaders. No thanks to our oppressor. No thanks to Christianity. No thanks to Islam is why these things are happening. No thanks to it. But let's get into it, man. So like Akim and Akwafin. And so now, let me see. What else? There's so much information I can just give at the moment. Where do I want to start? Or where do I want to begin to as well? Let me see. Maybe we can use. We're talking about the Prophet Muhammad, so let's talk about how he's not a prophet. So like it. Right. And so now we're going to prove. Now we're going to prove that also, because we were just talking about how the so-called Prophet Muhammad is not an actual prophet, right? And he stole this information from the Bible. Can anybody in class tell me, in any officer too? I know some of y'all officers may know, but let's see any young men know or any troopers know as well. Can y'all give me any precepts to prove that in the Bible that the so-called Prophet Muhammad is not a real prophet? All right, I want to see where y'all go with it. All right, I want to see where y'all head at. And if it's the scripture, I think it is. You're not wrong by pulling that scripture. But tonight I'm gonna give you something even better than really what that is too. You can still cut those Muslims out there with the scripture you may or may not pull. At least what I think that you guys may pull. All right, but y'all give me some precepts if y'all know that precept to prove that the Prophet Muhammad is not a prophet. How can damn, my beard falling out? It was probably just a dead end there. Can anybody prove to me how the Prophet Muhammad is not a prophet? All right. Everybody too, don't forget to put your name, city, and state. All right. Don't forget to put your name, city, and state. I see 14 viewers out there. Don't forget to sign in for me now. All right. Y'all go ahead and do y'all thing though. All right. Can anybody give it to me? Anybody know? If not, I'm gonna go ahead and for time's sake too, I'm gonna get into it. And so, like I said, so I'm going to go to the Quran first to prove why even Muhammad, the so-called Prophet Muhammad, is directly correlated, and I mean directly correlated with that's a good precept. Only Jacob got the word. That is a good precept. Acts 4:12. What does Acts 4:12 say? Go ahead and copy and paste that whole scripture. Acts 4:12. Koshah. Let me know what it says. Copy and paste it and put it into the chat for me because I want to know what it says. If it's too long to put in there, just let me know because I know they have like a a word limit, but just let me know. I know the brother's scripture by heart. That's a milk scripture right there. But that is a good one. That is a good one to use. But we're gonna use now. Remember, the prophet, the so-called prophet Muhammad, he is directly involved in the Quran, and the Quran is the so-called prophet Muhammad's book. All right, and so he uses, Muslims use this book to prove that the so-called prophet Muhammad is a prophet. So we're going to use the Quran to do so. Deuteronomy 4 and 2. I need to know what Deuteronomy 4 and 2 is as well. I feel like I know what it is. I know what Deuteronomy 4 and 1 is. Deuteronomy 4 and 2. Let me see what Quashah said. Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. That's not really a precept to prove Muhammad is not a prophet. All right. Now I'm gonna teach y'all the art. I'm gonna teach y'all the art of war. And I'm gonna teach y'all what I've been taught, the art of war. All right, and it's Christ-like. All right. If you want to know how to really cut, all right. Now, of course, young officers, you want to refrain from battling. All right. You want to refrain from battling. Any young man out there, any trooper, you want to refrain from even for even pulling scripture. If you're a young man or trooper, don't pull any scripture. You want to refrain from doing that. All right. Out there, you don't want to do that. That's an order. That's an order in the school. You do not just go out there and just drop scripture. You can drop the truth on a brother and be like, hey, the Jews are black, you should come to class and all this good stuff. But you don't want to really pull scripture because that will enter a debate at times, and you're not fully equipped for those debates yet. Even some of y'all young officers, y'all may think that y'all have the, y'all did, sometimes young officers, I went through it too. I'm 6-7 months in, I'm learning scripture. I think I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm the man. I think I know something, but I really knew nothing. So you want to, you really don't want to do too much battling. So what you want to do is you want to take notes here. So when that time comes, so you get real seasoned. You're like, I want y'all young officers and troopers and young men to understand. You're like a steak. You know what I'm saying? And our job, the senior officers and the captains and generals, our job is to season you properly. All right, so you can marinate, so you can be well seasoned one day. You understand? Well seasoned. So one day when it's time to cut into that steak, it's good. You know what I'm saying? It's good. It's delicious. You understand? So whoever you dropping that knowledge on, when you're nice, well seasoned, that steak is good. You know what I'm saying? It was well seasoned, well marinated. It was well cooked. You know what I'm saying? You go out there too early. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't marinated well. You know what I'm saying? And it's raw with inside, and there's a little pink showing. It ain't gonna be as good as it's supposed to be. So you might want to just refrain from really debating. You want to refrain from, getting into these kind of things. But I'm teaching this class so you guys know how to really get in, what I'm saying? Just so y'all just notice. All right. Don't go out there. What I don't want y'all young officers and troopers and young men to do is now after this class, the Islam, the Islam breakdown, and I know how to go into the Quran and all this other stuff, and you go all willy nilly and you get yourself cut. And now some brother and sister in the world thinks that they defeated the ISUPK. Don't do that. You don't want to shame. All jokes aside, you do not want to shame the school in that way. You want to maintain your discipline, and you want to maintain following those orders. You understand that are being passed down. All right. You don't want to go shoot off the hip. Isaiah 34:16. What she not add unto the word which I those are all good precepts, but they're not hitting the way they're supposed to hit. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure these cuts and these precepts they hit home. So I'm gonna give it to y'all, of course. I just wanted to see what y'all would pull. None of y'all had any wrong answers, by the way. Those were good precepts to maybe pull eventually down the line. But I'm giving you straight punches. You want that? You want the hit. You want that? You want that to hit. Like I don't know if any of y'all know how to rap out there, but when you rapping when you rap on the track, you want those bars them bars to hit at the end. Make sure they hit. You gotta make sure they smack at the end. All right. So these cuts I'm giving you, they're going just hit right there, and some Muslim is going to just cry. You know what I'm saying, and just be utterly defeated. You know what I'm saying? We want to defeat this Muslim God. And we're gonna do that tonight. We're gonna do that tonight. All right. So let's get let's see. So we're gonna get into first. We're gonna use their book against them. All right. I love to use their book to completely confound them. And so let's get Surah 29 and 27. Let's get Surah 29, 27. Let's see where the noble Quran, this disgusting book, the noble Quran. All right, let's see. Surah 27. Let me have it on the board for y'all. Let's see. I mean, Surah 29. I want Surah 29. It's a lot. Yeah, I'm tripping. Surah 29. Did I even click 27? I did. I'm on 27. But I want 29. And then I want the 27, 29, Surah 29, 27. Well, actually, I could just use this. Let's see what this says right here. We're gonna use their book. Let's see what it says right here. Let me see right here. Now, I don't know why I did that, but let's go up. Brought me to 37. I don't think I clicked 37. Maybe I did. I think I did click 37 by accident. I must have skipped too low. I thought I was clicking on 27. So lock it. Let's get that addressed real quick. Hold on. So lock it. Bear with me real quick. We're about to see it on the board. Looks like it don't want me to pull it up. There we go. And so I want y'all to y'all see Surah 27 on the page right here. Y'all see Surah 29, 27. And now these words are found in the Quran. Now I want y'all to know, I want y'all to look real close. All right. I want y'all to look real close. But now remember, I want y'all, can y'all see those words? Can y'all kind of read those words? Do I need to make it bigger? Can y'all see those words? Y'all let me know if y'all can see those words or not. Can anybody see those words right there? Okay, young man Darnell can see those words. Let me know if anyone else can see those words. If I got to make it bigger for anybody else, just let me know. That'll be no sweat. I don't want to move on until I know everyone can see those words. And I want y'all to read them for me. I want y'all to take the time because I want y'all to see these words. And I want y'all to read them. Okay. Officer Mataza, I can see him. Can y'all read those words in the Quran? Okay, Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ, Khan. Okay. Now y'all, okay. So now, if y'all can see those words and y'all can read those words for me, all right. I don't gotta do too much talking, do I? See, me personally, when I'm going against Muslims, I hate to do too much talking. I don't like to do all that talking. Muslims like to talk. Them conscious brothers and sisters, they just love to talk. They love to hear themselves speak. I don't like to do too much talking. I like to show. I like to be like, all right, I hear you. I hear you. You good. I hear you. I hear everything you talking about. Allah, knowledge, wisdom, all this, knowledge, power, all this. Now, I hear you. But what about this? You know what I'm saying? What about this? You talking about the so-called Prophet Muhammad, all right? But what about this right here? You understand? Right, Khan, Yama Don said, like, ah, that's a cut and dry right there. Exactly. This cut and dry in your own book, my brother. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Muslims don't read their book. We read the Bible. And because we have to be skilled in everything that we do, we got to read other books too, just to debate them, just so we can contradict them and confound them. That's what we do back here. All right. Real Muslims don't really know their book like that. They talk a good game, and some Muslims are just Muslims because they grew up that way, and they never picked up a Quran in their life. Just like Christians out there, just Christians out there, and never picked up the Bible in their life, and they think they know the Bible. Same, no different. That's why we say everyone's just Christian in the world, just Christian. They don't know nothing, they're ignorant, and they just repeat what they say. And it happens. It happens. You know what I'm saying? It happens. But no sweat. We're here to debate and take all that out. And so it says right here, since y'all see the screen, I want to read it out loud for any Muslims out there that are attending class tonight. Any future Muslims that want to be Muslims. I hope that you do not become that Muslim. All right. After this class, I would be damn near shocked and appalled that after this class you become a Muslim. All right. It says, we blessed him with Isaac and later Jacob and reserved prophethood and revelation for his descendants. We gave him his reward in this life, and in the hereafter he will certainly be among the righteous. So prophethood, it said prophethood. It used the Salakia. It used the word prophethood, not priesthood. Even though the priesthood is in the Bible too, it's there, but it used prophethood. Prophethood was reserved for Jacob in the Quran. Now, can anybody tell me, does the so-called prophet Muhammad, does he come from Jacob? Can anybody tell me that? Does he come from Jacob? Does anybody know? So now, anybody, of course everybody should be saying La'ah. We know La'ah, exactly, La'ah, right, exactly, La'ah. We all, right, La'ah, he does not. We know the so-called prophet Muhammad does not come from Jacob. So now with that being said, let's get Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 1. Now we just gonna cut. We already cut it with using their own book. Now we just gonna dig it deeper. I love the just to mess with the wound. You know what I'm saying? I already cut you deep. Now I'm just messing with the wound so it can just hurt even more. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna mess with the wound at this point. Because you deserve it. You deserve for this wound. You deserve the wound to be played with so it can hurt even more. You deserve it. So let's get Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 1. All right. I want y'all to take these notes now. Take these notes. You know what I'm saying? You might not be able to find this class again. All right. You might not be able to find this class again, so you better take those notes. All right. Every day, our enemy is trying to take down our videos. We got enemies out there that are trying to take our videos down. All right. You take these notes. You might not see this video again. Our oppressor might be like, that is far too much information. Take that video down. He used this kind of word, take it down. So you better take these notes now. Take these notes. Now it says Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel. So now Deuteronomy 1, verse 1, right? Now we know Deuteronomy, the book of Deuteronomy itself, is talking to all of Israel. on this side Jordan in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tephel, and Laban and Hazworth, and Dizahab. All right, so this is being spoken to all of Israel. All of Israel. This is what Deuteronomy 1 verse 1 is speaking to. So now if anyone has any concerns about who Deuteronomy is being addressed to, all right, you can just go to Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 1. And so now when we go to Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 1, now once you get Deuteronomy 1 and 1, then you get Deuteronomy 18 verse 15. Like I said, I like to take my time to cut. I don't now, of course, right? You know, some of y'all brothers, you might y'all some of y'all young brothers coming into the truth, sometimes y'all jackrabbits. Y'all like to go. Y'all like to go for it. You know what I'm saying? You wanna some of y'all brothers out there, you wanna treat this truth like you treat a woman. Don't be a jackrabbit, Ock. You know what I'm saying? Take your time with the sister. Take your time. You know what I'm saying? Get her comfortable. Y'all brothers understand where I'm coming from. I won't go into too much detail because this is we're gonna have some professionalism. But y'all get the point. Take your time. Don't be no jackrabbit. Take your time and get in there. You know what I'm saying? I like to take my time in things like this. I don't got to rush to Deuteronomy 18 and 15, talking about, oh well, the Lord prophet this, and I don't got to do that. I don't got to be quick with you. I like to take my time. You know what I'm saying? Put the lights on low. You know what I'm saying? I like to get the scenery right. You know what I'm saying? Take your time sometimes. Don't be no jackrabbit back here. You know what I'm saying? You want to deliver these cuts in order. Do all things decently in order. I'm giving it to you like this so y'all have these notes now. Like I said, take these notes. You only might get it once. All right, take these notes now. Nice and slow. Take these notes nice and slow. You want nice and slow. You want the server first. Get the Deuteronomy 1 and 1, and then hit them with the 18. You know what I'm saying? Because you already because remember, in reality, depending on the scenery, of course. In reality, you already shut them up. Whoever you may have been talking to, you already shut them up. All right. Now, I'm not giving anyone permission to go out there and find a Muslim and try to cut them this way. That's not what I'm saying. I want you just to have this knowledge for times like that. But for any young officers, do not just go out there willy-nilly. All right. You might want to wait to debate. Troopers and young men, no debating at all, no nothing. You just come to class and take them notes. You'll get your time. Don't you worry, your time will come. All right. And when your time comes, you take that notebook, blow the dust off of it, and take your time for whoever says he's a Muslim or she's a Muslim, whoever it is. Take your time with it. You know what I'm saying? And so now here we go in Deuteronomy 18 and 15. And it says, the Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet. Now we just, from the Quran, it already said that the prophet it already comes from who? Prophethood was already reserved to who? Jacob. Who is Jacob? Israel. Deuteronomy 1 and 1. Deuteronomy is talking to all Israel. Deuteronomy 18 and 15. The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee. So the prophet is coming from the midst of thee. Who is the thee? Somebody tell me the thee. Somebody tell me that thee. Who is the thee? Somebody surprise me. Tell me who's the thee. Now I want y'all to think. Now, don't say what I think you guys are going to say. I want to hear something. I want to see if y'all are paying attention and see if y'all got the spirit of the Lord. Who is the thee? That is true. That is true. The D is Israel. But now, if this was you cutting somebody, what would you say? Who is the thee? Now give it one more shot. Not Moses. Not Moses. Now Israel is close, but tell me, give me something else. Who is the thee? Israel is correct, but this is what I would say. Someone tell me what I would say. This is if you're seasoned. You know what I'm saying? Y'all giving me, medium, y'all giving me, medium well done. I'm gonna need y'all to give me that seasoned answer. Not Christ. Like I said, Officer Mataza and Young Man Darnell, Israel is correct. But give me another way. Like I said, y'all got it. Y'all medium well done right now. I need y'all to give me that well done, well marinated, seasoned answer to completely cut the piss out of this Muslim and destroy the God of Allah, that fake God Allah. Give Officer Mataza our hand. Jacob. Can anybody tell me why I would say Jacob? Somebody tell me why I would say Jacob and not Israel. We know that Israel is Jacob, right? Due to Deuteronomy 1 and 1, we know that. But why would I say Jacob? Why would I just say Jacob? Can anybody tell me why I would say Jacob? Let me see if anybody got the Spirit of the Lord right here. Can anybody tell me why I would say Jacob? Exactly. Give Officer Mataza another hand because Jacob is in the Quran. They say Jacob in the Quran in that specific surah. So I would say Jacob out of thee. His prophet became out of thee, meaning out of Jacob. It has to come out of Jacob. You're just furthering cut. You're just furthering the cut. All right. We just giving our precepts at this point to make sure everybody knows the so-called Prophet Muhammad cannot be a prophet. All right. Then it says, from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me, unto him ye shall hearken. It says, of thy brethren. Who are thy brethren? Other people coming from Jacob. It has to come from Jacob. Why does it have to come from Jacob? Because those Muslims believe that it starts and ends with Abraham. All right. They always focus on it. When you ever talk to a Muslim, they're always going to focus on Abraham, 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 Abraham. They're going to be a broken record with that Abraham, and eventually they're going to be a broken record with that Ishmael and Ishmael and Ishmael, and they completely disregard Isaac to Jacob. They completely disregard it as if it never happened. Because that's what the Quran did. They made it seem like it never happened, but in certain places they had no choice. But it was almost as if the Lord did it to make sure, so we can prove that they are some liars and they don't know what they're talking about, man. So this is one way to prove, all right, that that the so-called Prophet Muhammad is not he's not a so-called prophet, all right. Exactly, because right, give that sister a hand because it states Jacob as the prophethood in the Quran. That's exactly why. Give that sister a hand. But now now these are one of the ways to prove that the so-called Prophet Muhammad is not a prophet. Now, of course, those other scriptures y'all pulled, if y'all teaching the class one day, y'all can just keep toppling on top of that. But you want to do it in this order before y'all even pull the ones y'all are pulling. Like I said, don't be a jack. Y'all, those scriptures y'all pulled, y'all were trying to, y'all trying to be jackrabbits. You want to take your time. You know what I'm saying? Take your time with the sister. You know what I'm saying? Gotta spit game with the sister to, you know what I'm saying? Take the time. Get the scenery right. Get some flowers and some rose petals. Put on some nice music. You know what I'm saying? Get set the mood. You want to marinate the steak. Make sure it's well done. So it's well seasoned and tastes good. Don't be jackrabbits back here. The art of teaching and of art, the art of debate is to having the art of teaching. You want to master the art of teaching first before you even get into any debates out. In reality, these are for your young officers out there too. Before you even touch a debate, you might want to master the art of teaching first. You might want to learn something first. You know what I'm saying? You might want to learn how to teach and learn how to articulate your sentences. Articulation is everything. You want to know how to you want to know how to articulate those sentences now. All right. Ain't nothing wrong with talking and talking with slang and whatever the case may be. The Jews are black. That's fine. But know how to articulate those sentences, man. You want to know how to say the right things. You want to know how to you want to you want to get you just want to know how to teach. The Bible talks about that. That's a quality of a man. You have to be apt to teach. It says that in the New Testament, apt, APT, apt to teach. You got to know how to teach. Got to. If you a man, you a brother, you got to know how to teach now. And guess where you learn? You learn back here. You learn how to teach back here. All right. Walk with me now. All right. You want to have some taste and some flavor. Don't be tasteless. Take your time. Don't be a jackrabbit. All right. That's some wisdom for y'all. Y'all want to learn how to teach first before y'all enter those debates. All right. Everybody quick to debate. You want to learn how to teach first. So once we do that, let's get into how what's a good another one to do. There's so much I want to do historically with the Quran because I want to get into some history. And so we're gonna go over a little bit of history of where do I want to start? So much. Let me see. Unto the Solomon, Jerusalem. Do I want to do that? I can wait to do that. I can wait to do that one. Um, let's talk about the people. So now since we know um, that Muhammad does not come from Jacob. All right. Now someone may ask, how do we know these things? Well, of course we know by the sons of Ishmael. All right. So let's get that. Hold on. There we go. So now we know the sons of Ishmael. Let's get that in there. I believe it's in Genesis. So you have the sons of Ishmael. Now, of course, these people actually existed in history. Y'all may not know, but let's see. Let's get Ishmael. Should be spelled the same. I believe it should be the same. This is the King James 1611, so it should be the same. I believe it might just be in Genesis 17, but let me see. I don't think so. There we go, 25. So now we have it right here. So in Genesis chapter 25, verse 13, it says, and these are the names of the sons of Ishmael by their names, according to their generations. This firstborn of Ishmael is Nebaioth, and Kedar, and Adbeel, and Mibsam. And so there's more, but we're going to focus on Genesis 25 and 13. And so those that you see that those two sons right there, you got the Nebaioth and Kedar. Now, those people, all right, they actually existed. All right, those were actual real people that existed. They were a nation of people that existed in history, and it is recorded. And so, let's see. Of course, what I'm gonna do now. Remember, these I'm going to get. I'm gonna read some things. So now you guys can see this right here. All right. I want y'all. So you have somebody called the Nabateans. Nabatea, Nabatu, they were Arabs. All right. These people were Arabs. The reason why they were Arabs because they came from that area. All right. And this is a Near East kingdom. All right. This kingdom was in the Middle East. All right. And it says they were, they were known as the Nabateans. All right. They were known as the Nabateans. Why were they known as the Nabateans? And here's why. Can y'all see that right there? Can y'all see that right there? That's highlighted. Let me know if y'all can see that. Can y'all see those highlighted words right there and what they say? Now, of course, they say this information is debatable, just so they can, so that so just so they can. We have enemies out there, all right? Our oppressor is an enemy, and he likes to throw words out there just to confuse us and to keep us from believing that this is actual evidence and actual truth, because nobody really wants the Bible to be true. Because if the Bible is actually true, then some things are going to have to happen. All right. Oh, this is okay. One of this is con. Oh, this is all right. Let me see if I can make it bigger. I believe I can make it bigger from here. All right. What about now? What about now, Aqua? Can y'all see that perfectly now? I know the brother that said calm before, if he could see it, then for sure you can see it now. And it says right here, I'm gonna read it to y'all too as well. And it says, as their ancestor figure. So first, let's read up top. I'm gonna read it up top, but focus on the highlighted too. So it says the Nabateans probably originated as a nomadic Arabic tribe known as the Nabatu. All right, they emerged in the 7th and 6th century BC, migrating into the region which today forms parts of Jordan and northern Saudi Arabia. The Assyrians knew them as allies of the Kadarites. Although little else has been recorded about them in their early days, they spoke an early form of Arabic and were often labeled simply as Arabs by Greek and Roman writers. So these people existed, and let's talk about them. It says, as their ancestor figure, the Nabateans claimed Nabajoth or Nebaioth, one of the 12 sons of Ishmael, himself a son of Abraham. The Kadarites also claim descended from a son of Ishmael. It says the Kadarites. Why is it saying the Kadarites? Because there was an actual kingdom. There was an actual kingdom of Kadar, or the Kadarites. All right. Most High in Christ. Sabil. Okay, Most High in Christ. All right. We got you noted. All right. We're gonna make sure we get you down in attendance. Most High in Christ. All right. Um, and so Sabil, have you been in contact? Am I saying your name? Hopefully I'm saying your name correct. Is it Sabil? Let me know. Have you already been in contact with the school as well? Do you have the school's number? Do you have the school's number? Let me know if you have the school's number. Um, and we'll be able to let me know if you need it, and I'll say it on the if you need the school's number, I'll say it on the screen because I won't be able to it may not let me type it. I don't know how that works. It may not let me type it. One time I believe I tried to type it in the chat and it did not do me justice. I think I had to like send it in pieces. But if you want to contact the school, just let me know if you haven't already. All right. And so when you read these if we go back to the Bible, all right, it says, as their ancestor figure, the Nabateans claimed Nabajoth or Nebaioth, one of the 12 sons of Ishmael, himself a son of Abraham. The Kadarites also claimed descendants from the son of Ishmael. And so when we go back to the Bible, right, it says, and these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebaioth. This is the Nabateans. And Kedar. So how about we go to Kedar? So we're going to go to Kedar. Same website. I'm going to click in Kedar for search. Kedarites, or the Quadarites, the kingdoms of Arab, the Kedarites. Here we go. It says the Kadarites were another nomadic Arabic people, just like their cousins, the Nabateans. They occupied the desert regions of eastern Syria and present-day Jordan on the edge of the Levant. All right, the Levant is like a piece of land near the water. Also, like their cousins, the Kadarites claimed an Israelite ancestor figure, this time being Kedar or Quadar, second son of Ishmael, who was himself one of the sons of Abraham. The truth of the claim, though, we say this, the truth of the claim is debatable, of course, as Abraham's sons are claimed as the founding fathers of many of the kingdoms which existed on the borders of ancient Israel. The Assyrians transcript this name in the 8th century BC. So the reason why it's debatable because the majority of Abraham's seed claim there were many empires and many nations that come from Abraham. They're trying to make that a debatable claim, but it's really not a debatable claim. Okay, no sweat, no sweat. We'll give you the school's information. Um, Let me know when you're ready for it. Um, the school's number is 750-550-1204. Anyone out there that wants to contact the school as well, you can send us a text message and give us a phone call. All right. And if we do not answer, we will, of course, give you a call back. And I'll repeat the number for anyone that does not know the school's number: 757-550-1204. All right. You can also rewind it back at time 141, 140 to 141 to get it repeated. All right. Again, 757-550-1204. So now these Nabat, they're the cousins to the Nabatians. Now they always say the claim is debatable, but it's not really debatable. All right, because these people did exist. And it is too ironic and too coincidental that these names are too close to the actual names in the Bible, and that's what they named themselves. And that's what's recorded in history. They spoke an older dialect of Arabic because the dialect of Arabic was most likely close to the Lashawan Qadash, the ancient Hebrew. Arabic didn't always have those vowels in there. It probably sounded more so like the actual Lashawan Qadash. Is that far fetched to know that they may have spoken a slight dialect of Hebrew? No, it's not too far fetched because Arabic is an Aramaic language. Aramaic itself, if you look up Aramaic, it'll give you the Lashawan Kodash. If you look up the Aramaic language, it will give you the ancient Hebrew. So Arabic stems from a Aramaic language, which is the Hebrew, the Lashawan Kodash. So yes, it is not, but now Arabic and the today's Hebrew are just have vowels in it. So yes, it's not too far fetched that these Muslims coming from the Qadarites, all right, and these Muslims that come from the Nabateans spoke a dialect of Hebrew. That wouldn't be too far fetched. That wouldn't be. I wouldn't teach it for fact until we can actually pull up documents saying that this is what it is. But they did. But it is known that they spoke an old way of Arabic, and so it wouldn't be far fetched if anyone come across any information in the future that these Nabateans and Kadarites spoke Aramaic, the actual Aramaic language, which was maybe a that dialect of Arab, that old Arabic may came from a dialect of that old Hebrew, of the ancient Hebrew. I wouldn't be surprised, but I wouldn't teach it for fact. I'm just throwing that out there. I wouldn't be surprised that if that is the case, because these people actually existed. They're real, all right? They're real, and so now, of course, by knowing this, if you read the book to Babylon and Timbuktu, all right, these Nabateans and these, they did not believe in one God, right? They believed in many gods. Nabateans were polytheistic and worshipped a wide variety of local gods. I believe that should be in here. The information might actually be in here, showing them that they worship more than one God. Also, you see, it says their capital was Adumantu. The Akkadian name for the modern archaeological site was Dumont Jandal. You see that right there? Jumat Jadal. So it says, subdued by resurgent Assyrian Empire in the 9th century BC, the Kedar kingdom survived as a vassal state, occasionally rebellious but mostly compliant. Its capital was Adumatu. All right. The Akkadian name for the modern archaeological site of Dumat al Jandal. Now, let's control C this, and we're going to go to Google. We're going to use our Google machine. We're going to control V, Dumont Aldu Jadel, all right? And then we're going to Wikipedia Dumont Al Jandal, and we're going to make this screen bigger. It looks kind of low right now, so everybody can see. All right. And it says Dumont Al Jandal, pronounced Dumont Al Jandal, also known as Al Joff or Al Joff, is an ancient city ruins in the historical capital of the Al Jaw province, northwestern Saudi Arabia. It is located 37 kilometers away from Sakaka. The name Dumont Jandal means literally Duma of the stone. So Dumont Jandal means Duma of the stone. Duma of the stone. The ancient city of Duma has been described as the stronghold of the Arabians. Why was Duma have been? It says the ancient city of Duma have been described as the stronghold of the Arabians. Why am I bringing that up? Why am I bringing all this information up? Let's see. Let's just get this. Let's view chapter. Why am I bringing this all up? Let's find out why I'm bringing this all up. Let's go. Let's find out. Why is Officer Rashomon saying Dumat Jamal and Duma? Why is he saying these things? Oh, y'all probably y'all figured it out. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names according to the generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, the Beeroth, and Kedar, Adbeel, Mibsam, verse 14, Mishma, and Duma. Duma. Y'all see that? Does everybody see that on the screen? Can y'all see that Duma right there? Oh yeah, a yonder bar, that's no sweat. Duma. Y'all see that Duma right there? That's one of the sons of Ishmael. These people existed. These people are real. All I did was use my Google machine and I found them. Dumont Al Jandal is an ancient city of the ruins of the historical capital of the Al Jaw province. And it literally translates Duma of the stone. And it says the ancient city of Duma have been described as the stronghold of the Arabians. Now y'all see and hear what I'm saying, right? It's right there, cut and dry. I want you to take these notes now. All right, take these notes. Take these notes. They're right there. Google, right there. Solid information. These people existed. They're real. They're not made up. All right. The Bible is an historic record that the Israelites took and wrote down. Keep that in mind. Let's get some more on that. There's a reason why I'm bringing all of this up. They believed in more than one God. I kind of sidetracked it a little, but let me get that. Let me see. Let's see. I think this is a good one right here. So the Qadarite kingdom of Qadar was a largely nomadic. This is the same thing. The Qadarites with the K is the same. This is the same thing. All right. Ancient Arab tribal confederation described the most organized of northern Arabian tribes at the peak of the power of the 6th century BCE. It had a kingdom and controlled the vast region in Arabia. All right. The tradition holds that the Qadarites are named from Qadar, the second son of Ishmael, mentioned in the Bible books of Genesis 25 and 13. I just proved that to all of y'all. All right. They believed in more than one God. They There we go. Here we go. This is what I wanted from right here. And it says, in Islam, Ishmael is considered to be an ancestral forefather of the Arab people. And in tradition, let me get this a little bigger for y'all so y'all can see. Here you go. Y'all can just Google this stuff right here. All right. Now, this is what Muslims say. This is what Muslims say. Muslim historians have assigned great importance in their accounts to his first two sons, Nebaioth and Qadar, with the genealogy of the Islamic prophet Muhammad alternately alternately assigned alternately assigned to one of the other son, depending on the scholar, meaning either one of these two, the so-called prophet Muhammad, he comes from one of these two tribes, either from Qadar or comes from the Nabateans. All right, either it comes from Qadar or the Nabateans. Now, of course, if you did not know, all right, I'm gonna have this up on the screen. All right, I'm gonna let you guys know this right here. The Quraysh, Arabic, were a grouping of Arab clans that historically inhabited and controlled the city of Mecca and its Kaaba. The Islamic prophet Muhammad was born in the Hashim clan of the tribe, but no known evidence exists. The links are based slowly on tradition instead of historical records. So now the tradition, all right, is that he comes from the Quraysh tribe. All right, now of course, why is this considered tradition and historic record? These were stories passed down from the Arabs. These were stories passed down from the Arab people. All right. These things were passed down from them. All right. And of course, God, Most High in Christ, I see you in there. All right. And they were passed down. These Muslims, they passed down their historic records. And so they call it tradition. But of course, there's a lot of historic evidence actually proving that this is true. And it's also in the Quran to prove that it's also true. All right. Now remember, the so-called Prophet Muhammad, he, it's recorded that he's from the Quraysh tribe. Well, in the Quran, if it's so biblical, all right, if the Quran is so holy, all right, there's an actual, if you go to a Surah 106, so we one of the last surahs there. And there's a surah called the Quraysh. And one of the prayers is, at least for the favor of making Quraysh habitually secure in their trading caravans to Yemen in the winter and Syria in the summer. So in the Quran, there's a whole giving thanks to the Quraysh people. Let them worship the Lord of this sacred house. There's a whole thing for the Quraysh, who has fed them against hunger and made them secure against fear. There's a whole surah dedicated to this Quraysh tribe within the Quran itself. Now, y'all let me know why there's a whole dedicated. If Allah is the God of the Bible and they're the same God, why is this being done? Why is this being said? When we know, like the precept the brother put earlier in Psalms 147, 19 and 20. All right, in Psalms chapter 19, verse 20, the Lord did not give his word to anybody but Jacob. That's in the Bible, is it not? So why is the Lord talking to the Quraysh tribe in the Quran? It's simply because, all right, for time's sake, it's simply because God and Allah are not the same. All right. God and Allah are not the same. Far from it. Far from it. I'm gonna continue this next week. Before does anybody have any questions before we go? I know it's like 3 minutes to the class. All right, but I'm gonna stop there for time's sake. Let me take that silly Quran off the page. We don't need to see that no more. We're good. Anybody have any questions for me? You know what I'm saying? I think we cut Islam enough in class tonight, did we not? Let me know if I missed any evidence. Come, most on Christ. Anybody have any questions or la'ah? Come, all right. So with that, Akim and Agwafian, most on Christ. So with that, I say shalom. By the way, before we get off the class, anyone that has not signed in the class yet, do not forget to sign in right now. I'm gonna give y'all another minute or two to sign in and check in. All right. If you haven't contacted the school, don't be afraid to contact the school at the number 757-550-1204. That's the school's number. You can call the school's number for counsel. You can call the school's number for anything. For a question about the Bible, just to keep in touch with the camp leader. Like what you want to do is you want to stay in contact with the school. All right. We are the government body that is stationed in Virginia to make sure all brothers and sisters are good. All right. You do not want to lose contact with us. If you want to be a trooper in the school, all right, make sure you are in all black. First, let the camp leader know. Call that number 757-550-1204, 757-550-1204, and let us know that you want to be a trooper or a sister in the school. All right, but if you want to be a trooper in the school, make sure you wear all black and you sign in and check in when we have classes. Do not forget to sign in and check in or you do not get credit. Do not be afraid to contact us. All right? Do not be afraid to contact us. If you are in class, do not be afraid to contact us. Contact us. Call us. So we know that you want to be in a school, you want to start coming to classes. Don't be afraid. It does not matter. All right? You can be high as hell right now. Call the school. All right? Call the school. Don't be ashamed to call the school. We're here to build each other up. We're here to build the community back up. Don't be afraid to call the school. All right? Don't remember that number. With that, shalom. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah brought a thumb to the brothers. And then shalom. Yahweh Shamar Allah Son Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah to the sisters. Shalom.